All right, gentlemen, welcome to episode 12. How are you guys feeling?
Is it 12?
12 is crazy.
It
yeah,
is
but
episode
it is
12.
12.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
So before we introduce our guest and our topic, why don't we catch up a little bit? Ben, what have you been up to the last couple weeks?
Not a ton. I feel like a lot of catching up on not just work, but freelance work and podcast recording I got in just under the wire last week. So hopefully I can
Nice.
break that cycle a little bit. But yeah, just a lot of work and catch up and stuff like that. Nick, how about you?
So I was off last week for fall break, which is
Heck
kind
yeah.
of a weird thing. I feel like when I was in grade school, that was not a thing. Like, did you guys have a fall break?
No.
I was
growing up?
homeschooled, so nothing counts.
It was all break for Michael. Oh man, no, that was, I don't know. I feel like it's a fairly new thing, but it's kind of nice because it breaks it up a little bit. So we've got kind of a little bit of time off, really every single
Yeah, you
month.
got a whole week.
Yeah, so the kids got a whole week. I was supposed to work. Like we had a work from home day on Tuesday. But
Okay.
like, let's be real, like there wasn't that much work.
It was a
that got
bluey
done.
day.
Yeah, it was a bluey day. No, but it was good. Like we didn't do anything. We just kind of hung out around, didn't go anywhere because we have this big Disney trip coming up in a couple months. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, that's gonna be
let's
cool.
save some money and like just hang out around here and do our thing. But yeah, it was fun. It was just kind of relaxing, I would say. So
Very
Michael,
cool.
how's the baby? You getting any sleep?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Our sleep is improving significantly.
Okay.
She's starting to sleep like longer stretches, and it's amazing. The first night that like your baby has a good night of sleep, your world just is like different, Like Nick, I know, like I'm sure you experienced the same thing, but yeah, it's been amazing. We've been enjoying all the fall activities. We've taken her apple picking twice now. We've gone to a pumpkin patch with her. Like we've had 2 fall parties that we've taken her to.
It's the nice thing about fall babies. That was our kid's first outing too, was going apple picking because my wife made a big deal. So we had to go back to Lynn's fruit farm.
Yeah,
because
that's where we went.
Yeah, she's like, well, we've gotten a picture in the big chair every single year. We got to get that picture in the big chair. I'm like, all right, I guess you're more connected to this than I am. I mean, like, I know it was their first outing, but I didn't need to go back every year and keep on going with it. That's good to know, though.
Yeah.
So she's sleeping a little bit better, huh?
Yeah.
That's
So,
great.
yeah, praise God for that.
Amen.
All right, Ben, why don't you intro our episode?
Yeah, so we are here this week to talk about Stranger Things. So welcome to Fandom of Fandoms, where every week we dive into a different fandom, something that we know people or you people love to talk about and geek out on and dive deep in. So this week we're joined by a friend of our church, Isaiah. So Isaiah, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for joining us.
Yes,
we really
thank
appreciate
you for
it.
being here.
Yeah, thanks for having
excited.
me.
Yeah.
So why don't we get started? Like, tell us a little bit, first of all. Actually, sorry, my bad. First, we usually talk about what we all know about Stranger Things before we throw it to you. So I'll start. Like, I mean, I was not a super late adopter, but I feel like it was like a year after the first season dropped that I was like finally into it, but binged the whole first season in a day because, like, again, like you just started watching. It was a Saturday, I had nothing to do, so yeah,
Nice.
like I was like, why not? And yeah, I was in. Yeah, I was all in after that. So yeah, Michael, how about you?
Yeah. So same thing. When it first came out, first season, I watched it, binged it probably, and I was super hooked. I mean, so you guys know I'm a musician, have been since I was a kid. And in the last 10 years or so, I really got into like synth, and like I've played synth in a couple different bands. And so just the throwback, just the soundtrack alone, hooked me in immediately. I mean, you guys just heard the intro music that we threw in there.
love it.
Like, it's just so iconic and like it has that nostalgia factor. But anyway, yeah, I've seen all the seasons. I'm all caught up. I love them all. I mean, obviously I have gripes here and there, but yeah, I've been into it since the beginning. Nick, what about you?
Same. I can remember at the time, I think Netflix was the only like the only streaming platform that we were using or had,
Gotcha.
because it was still like, that's 2016.
Yeah,
And that was pretty early on. Like, I mean, Netflix had been around for a while, but like there weren't, Peacock and all that other stuff. It wasn't around yet, so I didn't have all of those. So Netflix, though, I had that one, and I can remember that they pushed it out. And I mean, just like with any of their shows, it was immediately like on their front page, and they were trying to promote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it going like, oh, this seems interesting. And I'm not really like a horror genre kind of person, but it intrigued me. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. So I picked it up and started watching it. And kind of like you, it grabs you and it takes you in right away. And I was just very compelled by the storytelling. So I kept on going, and every single season I've been super excited. Like I'll binge it right away.
Yeah.
So whenever as soon as it comes out, like
And
I'm
that's why
finished with
they're spreading it out. So
exactly.
yeah.
To stop me.
Keep you coming back. You can't just buy one day's worth of Netflix to watch it all.
Yeah.
So Isaiah, did you start watching right from the beginning?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Nice.
There were like 3 seasons
Okay.
at the time that I started watching.
Oh wow.
Honestly, it was because I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of these shows.
Okay, yeah.
I was pretty
Yeah.
young.
Michael can relate.
I can relate more than you.
Yeah,
more
we
than you know.
were just talking with Michael this weekend. Michael has not seen the Goonies, which he was not allowed to watch as a kid, which
This
Goonies.
is heavily comes out in that same
in
vein.
very
Yes.
inspired by Goonies.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were 3 seasons out before I even kind of dove in. I had always been interested in the show, but never was, had the chance to watch it. And so when I finally got the chance, I just remember being in my childhood bedroom and just like immediately just being enthralled in the show because I believe fully that I should have been growing up in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I
totally.
absolutely love the 80s. And so then when I found out this show was sci-fi and 80s, I was like, this is the show meant for me. And so I just started watching and I binged the entire thing in a summer. Really, it was more like a couple of weeks. And yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, every season pulls from some classic part of an 80s movie. So like
Sure.
season 1, E.T., the Goonies, Poltergeist. Season 2, there's a lot of just references and kind of inspiration from like Ghostbusters, Aliens.
for sure. Yeah.
And it just kind of goes, we can talk about it more later. It goes on and on from there. But yeah, just that 80s, I don't know, just that 80s, how they managed to capture the 80s culture is pretty amazing. So I was just watching the pilot today, and it was like all these details, like the furniture and the floors and the cars, like it just amazing, honestly. But anyway.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Isaiah, we were talking before the show, and you grew up in kind of a small town. Do you feel like they did a good job of capturing kind of like that small town essence and feel?
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up in an even smaller town than Hawkins, like way smaller. Like cornfields are all we had, that and like a tiny gas station. But no, I think they did a really good job of kind of capturing like a small town. And again, like you were talking about just how they had all the small details. I think the small details of the town as well, they did a really good job of that. It didn't feel like it was a forced sort of, okay, this is a forced small town feel. It felt like it was meant to be set in a very small town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. It wouldn't work. I don't think it would work well. Yeah, in a bigger city or anything. So Michael, why don't we? I think you pulled up a little bit about the background of the show.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think we kind of assume most people hear about these, fandoms, but yeah, just to give a quick
Well,
background.
for anybody that's like maybe you're on the fence and you've heard about it, you know a little bit about Stranger Things, and you've heard people mention it, that sort of thing, but maybe you've just never jumped in yourself. What's kind of the overview for it?
Yeah, exactly. So Stranger Things is a science fiction horror drama series. It was created by the Duffer Brothers, Matt and Ross. It was for Netflix specifically. It originally premiered in July of 2016. I remember it coming out every 4th of July. That was like a big thing. Anyway, but very quickly became a global pop culture phenomenon, thanks to its blend of that 80s nostalgia, which is what we were just talking about. The supernatural suspense, it's a very heartfelt coming of age style of storytelling. Like we just talked about, it's set in a small town, Hawkins, Indiana, during the 80s, and just kind of goes from there. So that's our overview.
Thank you, producer Michael.
Yeah.
So talk to us, Isaiah. You talked about how it kind of gripped you right away. What exactly about this fandom is meaningful to you, or why does it mean so much to you?
Yeah, like I said, the 80s vibes are just immaculate. I guess that's one way you can put it. I just absolutely love the entire premise of the show and the idea that, these kids with such grand imaginations can just take on such a massive, massive role in a worldwide, catastrophe. And I think it's really cool just because I felt almost like it pulled me back into being a kid. And also, just that nostalgia factor really made me feel like almost like I could be that kid.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that about the show. And of course, I am such a huge sci-fi fan as well.
Yeah.
And so to hear that, like I said, there's a sci-fi show set in the 80s. I mean, that's perfect. So that's what really gripped me.
So we were talking about the Goonies a second. Have you seen the Goonies?
Yes, one time because my wife had me watch it.
Okay. Good for Gracie. Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a classic. So,
And what about the other? So obviously, E.T. was a big inspirational factor for Stranger Things. Have you seen E.T.?
I've seen E.T. way too many times.
Okay. Really? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can I give you guys a hot take already? This
Oh,
episode?
gosh.
I'd love to
Okay.
hear it.
I do not like E.T.
Oh,
so-
you and Gracie would get along very well. She thinks it's so creepy.
I don't know what I mean. I need to watch it again. It's been a long time. I know that I've seen it for sure. I've seen it all the way through one time. But he's looking for the boo button to boo me, but it was turned down. So.
Yeah. Can you just give your hot take one more time?
Yeah. I don't like ET very much, honestly. Yeah. Sorry. A redo. But how about here's one that I did like. Did either of you guys? Do you remember Super 8?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I
watch
don't
that
think
one?
so. No, I don't think I remember it.
That was J.J. Abrams' like
Yes.
E.T.
Mhm.
Goonies mashup, essentially.
I mean, same
yeah.
thing. I mean, and I think it was definitely before this, and this again kind of hit those same kind of
Yeah,
Stranger
absolutely.
Things hit those Super 8 vibes quite a bit.
Mhm.
And the reason that one, this kind of taking it away from it, but it just kind of they're all in the same vein. It reminds me of each other because it kind of informs and inspired Stranger Things for sure. But my dad was big into Super 8 because they filmed it in his small little Steubenville, Ohio.
Okay.
Oh, no
so
way.
that was
That's
kind
funny.
of like right across the river from where he grew up.
That's
and It was
crazy.
this whole entire big thing when J.J. and Abrams was showing up and filming a movie there, and then just kind of those vibes, those the coming of age story, the kids kind of solving a mystery of sorts is kind of that same kind of thing. So if you haven't seen it, Michael, definitely worth checking out. Isaiah, you seen Super 8?
I hadn't even heard of it, to be
No.
honest.
Yep, you'd also like it then.
It's
yeah,
good.
it's
good
very
for sure.
pre-Stranger Things almost. Like, yeah.
What do you think? So you kind of talked a little bit about what makes the fandom so special. Let's think like standing out. I mean, obviously we're getting close to this final season. That's part of the reason that I pushed forward. I was like, we got to do a Stranger Things episode.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
so hyped for this next this next season. So I think it's worth talking. Like let's do some speculation. I don't think it's really on the notes too much. So I'm going a little bit off book. But what do you see as being like maybe speculating? What do you think is going to happen in this upcoming season?
Yeah.
Spoiler warning for anyone who has not seen it yet.
Right.
I honestly think there are a lot of ways they could take things. I just recently saw an interview. I forget which person it was. I want to say it was Dustin's actor decided to say that he pitched the idea for his character to die.
Oh,
I think I remember hearing
I
that.
did not
Yeah.
hear about that.
And so I don't know. I mean, I can't tell if he's just playing mind games or playing double mind games.
Yeah.
True.
So I think that's entirely possible. But I mean, if it's gonna happen, I mean, they're definitely going to kill off at least one
someone, yeah.
major character. But I mean,
Who do
it's
you
the
think
finale.
most likely it's going to be?
I don't want to say that it's. I don't want to say that it's gonna be 11.
Oh yeah,
But I feel like that one's just
A final sacrifice sort
it's
of thing.
too obvious.
Yeah.
You know.
Either that or Will has always been like the scapegoat for everything.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that think that it's going to be Steve. Like that he's going to
So
sacrifice himself.
I am totally blanking. Where the heck did I just heard this recently? Steve was originally supposed to be written off the show after
Yes.
the first season.
I heard that too,
He
yeah.
was just supposed to be this like jerk that gets killed at the end,
Mhm.
and his character was so lovable.
They made him too likable.
yeah, that they had to bring him back.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll kind of follow through
I
with
don't know
that.
if we read the same article or not, but the article that I read said that they gave Steve, what is it, Will's dad's redemption arc.
Okay.
No
'Cause,
way.
so Will's
okay.
dad was eventually was supposed to get a redemption arc, but they
I
gave.
kind of would like to see it.
instead.
Lonnie. I would
Yeah,
like to have
Lonnie,
seen
that's
that.
what his
Yeah,
name. I
Lonnie.
couldn't think of it,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's I don't know.
All right, Isaiah, you think Max, she's making a recovery?
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those things that happens. I think she's going to make a recovery. It just kind of reminds me of Star Wars, honestly. And there are a lot of times where you have a character that's, you know, down and out, and they're recovering, but they always, you know, wake up. And I feel like that, again, not to get into too much speculation, but I feel like that might play a role in the grand finale. I think her.
See, that was I was honestly. See, I feel like this is gonna sound bad, but I was a little bit disappointed that they kind of like pulled back, because I thought for sure that she was dead at the end of the last season, and then they like pulled out and they're like, oh no, actually she survived. She went into the hospital and she's recovering in some way. So I thought for sure she was gonna die last season.
Yeah.
Could see that for sure.
I just think it plays too much into the 80s trope of like, we can't kill off this character.
That's the nice thing about this, is that it is in the horror genre, but the amount of heart that the series has always had, like it has been more about that than the horror in a lot of ways. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I agree. I just teared up today actually, because I was watching the finale of season 2, and
You jumped around today. Did you?
I did jump around. I did. And again, spoiler. Do I have a spoiler alert?
Pick something.
I'll get something later. I gotta come up with. I gotta find one. But when Mike is just ticked off at Hopper, and he's like fighting him, and he's punching him, and then Hopper just grabs him and starts hugging him.
Yep.
Oh,
man, that was a tearjerker. But I'm just saying that as an example to your point. Like, it's just got a ton of heart. Like, even in these random spots you wouldn't really expect.
I'm trying to remember, what was going on in this?
So Mike had just seen 11 for the first time. I think it was the first time in season 2, because he thought that 11, was long gone. Yeah.
She was off in Chicago most season 2, right?
But Hopper had been hiding her from everyone. And so, they reunite for the first time, and it's just a super emotional moment. And that got me today. But
very cool. Well, Isaiah, I'm going to skip we usually start with our starter pack. We usually ask, where to start, because it's usually like we've talked a lot about fandoms that span multiple media. But obviously with Stranger Things, we would recommend that people probably start episode 1, season 1.
Sure.
But so we're going to jump down to our elevator pitch. So why don't you've talked a lot about the nostalgia and everything like that, but if you had to give someone a 30-second to 1-minute pitch on why they should watch Stranger Things, what would that be?
That's a lot of pressure in
I know.
I would say, if you love 80s, if you have a heart, if you want action, mystery, or thrills, if you want to see kids succeed but also cry your heart out when they fail, then watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said.
Perfect. Yeah.
No, I love that.
Good deal.
Well, I have something because we're running like a little bit quicker than we normally do here. That's we're
well. I mean, I feel like we're
through.
going to spend a lot of time talking about through some of
That's
our group
true.
discussion stuff.
I got this little thing here. I'm gonna give this to you, Isaiah. This little keychain here. Normally, we always give a gift to people for coming on the podcast, so thank you. I figured it'd be fun to open it up and see what character you got on
yes.
this. So.
Absolutely.
We got lots of options on there. Who's
Let's
on
see.
the?
Why don't I play a song while he's
Sail
opening
on
that?
this ocean of flavor with me. I'll be your captain.
If I can figure out how to open this.
There we go.
I need to grab you some scissors.
Uh-oh.
There it is.
There we go.
See, this is why everyone needs to watch the YouTube video, because they'll see.
All right, what do we got going on? Here we go.
Oh, nice.
We got
Who's that?
Robin.
Robin.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Robin.
And her
Very
get up
nice.
from I think that was that season 3, I think.
Was
I
it
wanna
so?
say
I believe so. Maya
wanna
Hawk.
say so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. When she was down, when they were, man, that was a fun storyline. The whole
I've
secret
absolutely.
Russian base.
Oh
and,
my
Oh,
goodness. That was just a whole nother level of fun for me.
yes.
Well, Isaiah, you mentioned a couple minutes ago that the kids are involved in this worldwide kind of event, but we don't know that, because initially you do think it's just contained to this one little lab in Hawkins. But then, as the onion is peeled back, season after season, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I think that's one thing that's exciting about the show, too, is like, that scale continues to grow.
It does, yeah. And then, at the end of the last season here, it kind of like you have this huge event, so it kind of makes me wonder: is it going to incorporate more of the outside of? It did in the last season, but even more so that like this huge thing happens in Hawkins and like probably on the news. Like, are they going to bring in I don't know. It'd be weird to bring in more characters for the last season, but I could see it happening. Like,
Sure.
they
Well, I
did
feel
the
like you
last
have to
season for
again.
sure.
Like they're zooming out even more. Like because was it last season that they were in like California for a good chunk of it too? Yeah. So
Because what was it? The buyers moved there, right, at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's something that kind of confused me about it. It was like, okay, this massive event is happening with like aliens,
yep.
and where is everyone? Like, why is the news like what's happening? Like, why is this not a bigger event everywhere else? And I wonder if that's just because we're not seeing that perspective. But also at the same time, I don't know. That was something that always confused me. So I'm excited to see. I think at this point, just like at the end of the last season, where it just kind of shows like a very panoramic view of Hawkins, and you're like, oh my goodness. Like I think that is also saying, you know, okay, now we're gonna see a panoramic view of what's happening in the world based on these events.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing too is, you know, in the 80s. You didn't have social media where news would spread, you know, in an instant. So I almost think of it like nowadays, if like you were saying, if something this big was happening, you know, in some remote location, surely everyone would know about it. But maybe just for the time, like, you know, it didn't get out that fast. But anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone because I told you guys a while ago that I had, this is kind of segue a little bit, but I had a piece of interesting information that I discovered about the show.
You did, and you decided you were going to withhold it until now.
I did. So I was just looking up to make sure that I had my information correct here. But did you guys know that Joe Keery, the actor that plays Steve Harrington, is in a band?
I did not.
No way, really?
Yes, it is called Joe. But it's spelled DJO. So DJO.
Okay.
Oh.
And
the Joe.
yeah, Joe. Yeah. I don't know. Is that I don't know how to do the DJ sound apparently.
G.
Like
I think
the
G.
Joe.
Like Jimbei.
Yes, exactly. But so it was weird. It came across my feed. I had heard this song that had been kind of, I'm trying to remember what the title was. That was part of what I was trying to look up. But there was a viral song that went out, and I had heard the song a lot. Like I hadn't associated it with anybody. It was just something that I had heard on social media a lot that had been used in clips. And I'll have to look it up here in a minute and find it, maybe at our break. But it was a video came across my feed, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, is that Steve from Stranger Things? And at first, like, I went and I looked in the comments, and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's Steve from Stranger Things. I'm like, all right, is it just that he looks like him? And then I slowly was like peeling it back and went and looked it up, and I was like, no, this is actually him. And his band is very good. Very, very good.
Well, you guys saw it. There was a viral clip, and this was like years ago, of the four boys doing a song. I think it was on
Jimmy Fallon.
SNL. Oh, Jimmy Fallon, yeah. And they were amazing. They
I don't
were.
think I ever saw that.
I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah, they sounded so good. They all had great
And
singing
you know,
voices.
Gaten Matazzaro, Dustin, was on Broadway.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was. What did he play?
Gavroche in Les Mis.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I don't know. It blew my mind, honestly. I didn't know if you had you heard that.
I had not.
No.
That's crazy.
It was wild. I got to look up that song. We'll find it here in a minute, and I'll play it for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard it at some point for sure. Well,
Yeah.
we're kind of at the midway point of the episode a little bit. We can come back and take a quick break, and then come back and have like our larger discussion. What do you guys think?
Sounds
great.
good.
All right. There we go.
All right, we are back from our break. We got our clock ticking here. All right, so we're gonna jump into a segment of just fandom culture. Something we love to talk about. So, Isaiah, is there any content outside of the show or the main continuity that you enjoy, like any YouTubers, podcasts, TikToks, things like that? Anything that you've kind of found outside of the show that's Stranger Things related that has been just enjoyable for you?
Honestly, I love to just get on the Reddit and just see people,
There you go.
just see people go ham at each other with their hot takes, or just completely debate, which character, or whether they're on Team Steve or not. That's like the biggest one. And it's just fun to see, like, you see so many people come to the same conclusions, but they're all watching it at different times, and so they're like, guys, did you know that Steve did this? And yeah, Yeah, that was years ago. So, but yeah, no, I love to like look on Reddit and just have discussions in there.
Yeah.
So
Nice. So you participate in them as well?
starting to.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm like one of those longtime lurkers.
Is it? That's what it is. I was-
Yes,
I
yeah,
couldn't remember if it was like creeps or lurkers, but
Yeah.
lurkers, yeah.
Yeah, they're called longtime lurkers. And
Okay.
so I've just over the past like 6 months or so, I've started to get on Reddit, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's quickly become my Stranger Things obsession.
Yeah.
I'll just dive into the community on
Well,
there.
then, yeah, like, why don't you start us off with, like, what are some hot takes that you see on there?
Team Steve.
Okay.
That's the biggest one.
Okay.
Really? That's a hot take?
Yeah, that's a hot take.
There are people who don't like him?
A
or-
lot of
yeah.
people don't like
Wow.
Steve.
Wait, hold on. So the hot take is that there are people out there that they say Team Steve, or they are against Team Steve. I'm confused. I
Honestly,
guess.
both are hot takes
Oh, okay.
in the community. There are people out there that are very opposed to Steve.
What?
There was a post today that someone was just absolutely appalled that anyone could be on Team Steve.
Wow.
They really wanted
crazy.
Steve to go down season 1.
Wow.
Dang, that's honestly surprising. Well, we were just talking right before we came back from our break, and I'm blanking on Max's brother's name.
Billy, wasn't it?
Billy,
Yeah.
yes, you're right, Billy. But he kind of becomes, I think, what Steve was originally supposed to be. Like, he's just that jerk that's like, bad boy. But Ben was saying, like, they took it up a notch with
Yeah,
him.
because like we were talking about, was that on air? We were talking about like where he's supposed to be written off at season
Yeah,
after
we
season
talked
one.
about
Okay,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
And then but so they're like, okay, if we introduce this other character, he has to 100% be unlikable, like
Yeah.
zero redeeming qualities.
Hey,
yeah.
there's some people. I mean, there are some people that like Billy too. Let's be real, but I don't know if it's just
Really?
because he's hot. I don't know.
I'm
if
not
that's
gonna
the-
lie. I kind of like Billy.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I thought he was pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So it's just the coolness of Billy
Yeah.
that like
Yeah, I
drew you
Billy
in?
is cool.
I
Okay.
think it was just
I
one
was-
of those like classic '80s cool
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
his.
Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
I could crosstalk. I'm sorry. No, I was about to say because the episode that I was watching before this was it was the beginning of the season where Billy is a lifeguard, and the whole entire scene where he's coming out to his duty,
jeez.
and the moms are like watching him. It's like, I love that. It was a funny scene.
I love the scene, but I
Yes.
still don't like Billy.
Nah,
I mean,
yeah. That's fair. He is a jerk. He is definitely less likable than Steve, and that's the point. But
Yeah.
I mean, the very fact that like they put Max in there to kind of be that foil to his character, because then you kind of feel when it all goes down, you do feel bad for Billy. Like you do
Sure,
kind of
sure.
like, I'm sad about his death a little bit,
Yeah. Oh, should I have hit the spoiler? We're gonna have a lot
Again,
of
this
spoilers in
this
here.
this far into it, if you haven't watched, you might want to stop now.
Yeah,
That's a good
exactly.
point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already talked about season 5
Yeah, we've been all
predictions, so
over.
yeah.
That's true. Well, Isaiah, so you brought up that hot take. How do you feel about Steve? What's your opinion of him?
Honestly, I really like Steve. I think that he has. I think he has the strongest character arc across the board. And I think that he just, I think they developed him really, really well. I'm so glad that they took him in a direction that they didn't originally intend, but that they read the fans, they read the story,
sure.
and said, you know what, let's adapt it. And honestly, I think his character and just the way that he's so self-sacrificial, I think it's a really, really cool quality to watch as the show progresses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take us into our first hot take that I saw just the other day, again, as I was prepping for the episode. But it was a video that I was watching, was talking about how basically in season 1, Jonathan kind of sucks and he is a creepy camera guy, like just kind of whatever. And their
bit.
hot take was that he was lucky that Steve didn't do more to him than just break his camera. So I was kind of
Sure.
like, okay, yeah, like I can feel that if you go back and you're watching from the beginning. It's like, the fact that Nancy ends up with Jonathan and later seasons is kind of like, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it's because they just made Steve's like redemption arc just that good that you're like, oh man, Steve, he's a good guy. I like that. I like that guy. But
Yeah, that's true. Jonathan's an interesting character. I kind of relate to him because like I was homeschooled. Like I was kind of a loner, and like I wasn't into photography until my adult life, personally. But I don't know. He's relatable.
Yeah. He's got plenty of good moments in the scene, but there was just like those scenes where it's like, well, coming from, if you're imagining Jonathan from Steve's perspective.
Yeah, right.
You can kind of see like why that might set Steve off a little bit, why he might act the way that he did, even if it was a little bit too macho and bully like, I guess. But
yeah, honestly, I always struggle with his character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I definitely saw him from Steve's perspective. Maybe I was just biased from the beginning.
No, that's okay. I mean, I will admit that like Jonathan did not have to take some of those photos. When you're in the woods and you see some people, like you don't need to just take photos of people, even if there's someone you know. That kind of makes it worse, even. Like,
it does make it a little bit worse. Yep. Yeah,
I think the point they were making was, and I think this is in the show too, was that he had the last photo of Barb before she went missing. So it was kind of like, okay, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's discuss Barb. Did everyone feel okay with her fate and like how mysterious she like they didn't really resolve anything other than she's lost in the Upside Down?
I thought they came back to her eventually.
Did they?
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong. In the season finale, when they find Will, I think that Hopper and
I think they found her body.
Joyce,
right?
they find her body.
Yeah.
I don't think they really say anything about it, but I'm pretty sure she's definitely down there.
Okay.
But honestly, it's so sad because then jumping to the next season, in the first episode of season 2, her parents obviously don't know. They're selling their house to get money to pay for the investigation to continue looking for her. And that was like really
I'd forgotten about all that.
Yeah, it was so sad to watch. I was like, I don't really remember like feeling this bad. And maybe because that was, almost 10 years ago and I'm a little more mature now and I have a kid, but it's a really sad storyline.
It is.
So
Well, I felt like in that first season, they kind of went for, in terms of like dark tone.
Yeah,
I feel like the first season is probably the darkest, because I think that's part of what people, I mean, there have been some people that are like, hey, the Duffer Brothers have pulled their punches quite a bit. Like they haven't really been as likely to kill off characters, and even when it looks like they might, they pull back. You know what I mean? Like that's what they did with Max. They pulled back, and you thought that Hopper died this sacrificial death, and then it turns out he's alive. But that's kind of been like the trend of the show when you look at it. Like, I mean, it was 11 the first season, then I don't remember how and all it went. No, she was first and second, wasn't she?
Yeah, because she appears to go with the Demogorgon when in the first season she's gone.
Yeah,
and then the second season she's trying to close the rift. Or the tear,
and that's when she disappears.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, anyway,
but yeah, I guess that's all. I guess that's what we can always count on coming from Stranger Things. There's going to be some sort of big sacrifice set up at the end, and then like, oh well, is it actually going to end that way? So maybe this time it will be like, oh well, somebody has to die. I don't know, because it's got to end, right? It's got to come to a finale. So who knows?
Well, this brings up kind of a larger question. So Isaiah, I mean, just even outside of Stranger Things, how do you feel about the current trend, I'll call it that, of just either not killing off characters or clearly killing them off and then bringing them back? Like you mentioned Star Wars a couple, at the beginning of the episode. What's your kind of opinion on that?
I think it really depends. It's one of those nuanced things where if it makes sense to bring them back, like storyline wise, and it's not just a nostalgia factor, then I'm all for it. But I think a lot of the time it's really just there to, to play into the fans and just hopefully make some extra money because you brought back someone that everyone recognizes, and I absolutely hate that because I'd rather you just bring in some new characters if you need new characters.
Yeah, I mean, and good for Stranger Things our hero of season 2, Sean Astin's character, was it Bob? Right?
Yeah, Bob.
Bob.
Good for them to not like make him just pull through miraculously somehow or something like that, because I think we all would have loved to see more Bob.
Absolutely. Bob was a great character.
He really
was.
was.
I felt really bad. That was probably one of the most impactful things in the show. Just watching Bob go.
Just the dogs.
Man.
The Demodogs. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I got another. So here's a fan theory for you guys. Maybe we'll come to you. I don't know. This is just one that was at the top of my head. So I don't know if you've got any fan theories that you've heard, but this is one that I saw that was kind of compelling to me. So the fan theory is that Vecna was in the show from the beginning, and that he was in fact it wasn't the Demogorgon that kidnapped Will. It was Vecna. From the very beginning. That's a fan theory that's out there. Hey, you guys heard anything like that?
I did hear something about that. And then people were showing like pictures that people had people had found like in the backgrounds of different scenes, and a lot of people were kind of fighting back against that, saying that even the creators of the show decided to, they said that that wasn't even part of the plot at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bummer.
I don't know if that's true, but it seems like they were saying that it was still just demogorgons or demodogs in the pictures in the backgrounds of the scenes or whatever. But
You're shooting down my hopes and dreams.
honestly, I would love it if they do this from the beginning, and I think it's entirely possible that we see that in season 5. Maybe that's one of those big reveals. It's like, yeah, Vecna was there from the beginning.
Well, and I think too, like if we want the Demogorgon to remain consistent, like in his character, he was just eating everyone.
Yeah.
So like, why would he kidnap Will and
Right.
take him down there? Why would he just eat him? Right on the spot? Because I feel like he was doing that.
Well, did the
Well, did he-
Demogorgon kidnap Will, or did Will just disappear into the Upside Down and didn't know how to get back? And
He
was
ki-
being
he
hunted by
kidnapped
him.
he kidnapped
He did?
him. Yeah,
Okay.
because when he's in the garage, and he's got his gun ready and stuff, you clearly hear like.
Well, it was the same thing with Barb, because Barb was in she
True.
was hanging
Yeah.
out in the pool, and
Yeah.
then she just disappeared. So she got dragged into the Upside Down by something. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. So that's kind of I think that's part of the fan theory, is that like, well, there, it's Vecna that was taking people, and the Demogorgon is just there to, cause chaos and kill and like the Demodogs, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. I saw that. What about, have you heard any other interesting fan theories or things that stand out to you?
Honestly, I think that's the biggest one that I've seen.
Okay.
There seems to be a lot of debate around that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contention, just on,
Yeah.
just in general on everything that's, especially right now, because we're so close to season 5 coming out, that everyone's really just, there's not even a lot of discussion around anything except for what's coming in season 5. So
Sure.
I'm not even sure what other people are speculating about
Okay.
from the first few seasons.
So in that vein, then we talked a little bit about it. Have you seen any wild theories about season 5? Then
nothing that we haven't already said.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people are just basically choosing who they think is gonna die. And it's just like
for
one
sure.
person, and they're like, okay, it's going to be 11, or it's going to be Will, or it's going to be Dustin, and they're all just kind of jumping into each, these different segments of who do we think is going to die.
gotcha.
Yeah, I could see Will being killed off because, correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I haven't seen all the seasons in recent years, but like he never really finds his place after being back from the Upside Down. Like I feel like all the characters find someone like, or kind of something to be like, they find their place in the world to some degree.
Yeah.
But with Will, he's always kind of just lost and kind of like, I don't know, like othered in a sense. And and they're trying to bring him back in, like,
Well,
especially Mike. But
That's kind of like the big struggle for him of season 4 is
Right,
feeling
yes,
his
yes,
loss
yes,
of
exactly.
connection. And
Yeah.
so
I almost wonder, like, for him to make an ultimate sacrifice, because again, he felt like he never really found his place again. Like, that seems like might be a logical choice, but
Ooh, I don't know who my most likely pick is. I mean, there's several of them that I think could potentially go. Honestly, I think there's a good chance that they don't end up killing anybody off. Or if they do, it'll be like a more minor character or something like that. I don't know, but I think about just the nature of how the show has been these last several years, and that's kind of been their way. Like it is dark, but it's not. Like it's got a lightness to it, while like it doesn't feel completely dark and heavy.
Hope.
It's like dark with the light, exactly, the hope that's in there as well. So I don't know. I just think that I don't think they're gonna go that complete direction, like have it end on a bad note. I think that we're gonna see it come to a close and kind of be like, all right, you know what, this is kind of ending on a. I'm sure there'll still be something, like the door will be open for potential spin-offs and things like that, but I don't
they
think
have to.
Yeah.
They have to make him do it till they're 90.
Right. Well, I don't know about for the. I think I heard that supposedly there was going to be a spinoff.
Yeah,
like it was already in the works.
They've definitely teased some spinoffs recently, but I did hear there is one. I guess there is one big theory that I just remembered. It got shot down by a lot of people, but I think it's possible. And it's the idea that at the end of this, we're gonna find out that it was all just the game of D&D.
Oh
I mean-
my god!
I mean, Could happen.
Could be
And
interesting.
so then, no one dies. You're right.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't
Could
know
be
about that. I think a lot of people would be disappointed if that's the case,
Right.
including myself. But I can see it happening. I can see it happening like Jumanji style.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it
is that
would.
their,
I think it would be so out of left field that I couldn't be disappointed. It would just be like I'd be too shocked to be disappointed.
So we touched on this a little bit in different fandoms, but like, are we set up in this show that it is going, like, no matter what happens, it's going to be disappointing? You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
our expectations
Yes,
so
right.
high that, like, no matter what, when the show comes to an end, it's just like the toxic fan base is going to come out. Which so far, I don't think I've seen it too badly. Like, we've talked about some toxic fan bases and things like that, or
Yeah.
toxic fans. But I haven't seen it a lot for Stranger Things. But it's got me wondering, like, well, when we're coming up on an end, this is like all right, what's going to happen here? Is it going to fracture the fan base, and we're going to see, like, all right, there's just so many people that are angry about the way that it ends? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Thoughts?
I would definitely think that this is gonna be a divisive point because, yeah, like you said, there's really not a whole lot of toxic culture around Stranger Things. I think I honestly don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for it.
And you're seeing this on Reddit, which is
Yeah, that's the most toxic.
historically,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
toxic
where
place.
you-
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. But yeah, to see that it really isn't that bad right now. I think it's coming because, like you said, this is gonna establish the history of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
right.
The coming up on the end, and when people don't get their way, I think it's gonna split the fan.
Yeah. A lot of pressure on this last season.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a ton of pressure. Yeah, it's just well, you were saying this in a previous episode, Nick. It is literally impossible to avoid. Like
Yeah.
you cannot please everyone. It's just impossible. And maybe Stranger Things has a little bit more of a chance of doing okay because it's not from an existing
It's true.
IP. It's not like a remade, or it's not based on a book where you have the book ending and people are expecting that. So maybe from that regard, it has a little bit more of a chance. But I think, like you were saying, Isaiah, like, yeah, it's just unavoidable, And I think Reddit is the upside down, actually. Maybe that
No
we might
doubt.
take.
No doubt.
Well, yeah. You want to dive
Yeah,
into?
I'll jump
yeah.
into Would You Rather here. So this is a fun little part that we've added to the show. Just a quick kind of rapid fire. I got some questions for you. So, would you rather be trapped in the Upside Down for 24 hours or be hunted by Vecna for one night?
Yeah, just put me in the upside down. Vecna's got me in no time.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances.
Oh man, yeah, Vecna's terrifying. I'll tell you what, like that whole entire season, just him, like that anticipation of what's gonna happen. Man, what about you guys? I'll jump over. You guys got a preference on that one?
That's the same. Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah.
If I was listening to Running Up That Hill, I might be able to take the Vecna one.
It's on there somewhere.
Yeah, let's see.
There we go.
I mean, this is just you could take anyone with this.
That's true.
I can't believe. So it was so funny to see that song come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys remember, like, it came up and it topped the charts.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it was like this, 30-year-old song, and the artist was like, this is
What?
crazy. Like,
Why?
This is wild. Because it's obscure. Like, when you listen to it, like, I don't know, it is a banger in some ways, but
Yeah,
like,
but it
in
wasn't
some
even
ways
like it
it's-
was like popular in the
It is.
80s or anything,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah. So it's
I'm
crazy.
gonna take us down a quick rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah,
let's do it.
So Kate Bush was the original artist that wrote that song. Placebo was a band from the early 2000s that got really popular after the movie. Oh my gosh. I should have looked this up before. But anyway, Placebo, this band, they did a cover of Running Up That Hill that was really popular. And I think it might have been more popular than the original. That's the version that me and everyone else knew. I'd never heard Kate Bush's version until the
Really?
show. Yeah. I only knew that cover that they did in the early 2000s.
Oh man, you have to play that for us.
Yeah,
later, 'cause
yeah,
I
I'll
don't
have
think
to do that.
I don't know if I've heard it or not. Wow.
Yeah. But I think you'd recognize it because it
Was it in another movie or show? Or?
Yeah, Cruel Intentions. That was so. I think Cruel Intentions made this band Placebo like pretty popular, and then they released a cover of Running Up That Hill, and that's the only version I ever knew. And then this, obviously hearing the Kate Bush version.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did hit #1 on iTunes charts. during that time that it came out. So yeah, it got super popular. But,
Wow.
yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's something. Would you rather have Eleven's powers or Dustin's brain and charm?
Honestly, I would go Dustin's brain and charm. I love his personality. I've always loved like the clever kid, and just the creativity that he has. And I don't really care to have telekinetic powers.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's too much responsibility
Yeah,
for me.
absolutely.
No
I would
doubt.
rather just be very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
He's also got the Riz, like honestly,
Absolutely.
that's like so much charisma just dripping with it, you know.
See, you're a middle school teacher, so you know all the lingo that they say these days.
Yes, they would hate it if they heard me using that word. Like that is, you know. Would you rather be best friends with Steve or Eddie?
Oh man, Eddie. Honestly, he like for as much as he got hate, I mean, he's such a lovable character by the end. I think I'd have to go with Eddie.
Wow. Okay.
I
We
feel
haven't
like
talked about Eddie much yet.
Yeah.
he'd be difficult to get along with. I think a lot of times we'd butt heads, but at the end of the day, I think he's super protective.
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude,
Which
I loved.
I guess you could say about Steve too, but I don't know, something about Eddie. Just like I feel like he just rock on.
Dude,
Yeah.
I loved Eddie's character. He was, man, such a good, and that was another thing too. Like he came in and crushed the role and just like made everybody love him. And this was a breakout. Like he hadn't
yeah.
really been in
Nope.
anything. That was a breakout role for him. And since I feel like he's been very successful.
I know he was in Gladiator 2, and
Yeah.
then we just saw him in Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
and I think he's got other stuff lined up too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's really ridden up that hill quite a bit
Nice.
of success. Exactly. What about would you this is a funny one. Would you rather work summer at Scoops Ahoy or Surfer Boy Pizza?
Oh man, yeah, I'll be at Scoops Ahoy any day. Oh man, working out of that pizza van would be so tough.
See, it really comes down to like who your coworkers,
coworkers
are,
are,
right?
yeah.
Like, because would you rather work
Yeah.
with Steve and Robin
Oh,
or
absolutely.
What's oh my god, why can't I think of his name right now?
I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
same.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. It's right there. Darn it, dude! But he was so fun. Like like that. He was another one. I mean, he was just comic relief mostly, but
Yeah,
I really did
exactly.
appreciate him.
I mean, he's funny, but I would be so annoyed.
Yeah.
I could not work with him.
Producer Michael's going for it. Why can't I can't think of it right now?
Yeah, I'm honestly having I'm having a hard time finding out who this guy is.
Is it- Our listeners would be like shouting at us if they know Stranger Things.
I
Like
know.
obviously, come on. Is it
Okay, so the actor is Eduardo Franco, but what's his name? Argyle.
Argyle?
Argyle. Oh my god.
I was.
Okay.
It was
I
on the
would've
tip of my
never
tongue.
Yeah, Argyle.
Nope. That's an interesting name for sure. That a last name or a first name? It doesn't matter.
Would you rather face a Demogorgon with only a baseball bat or a Demodog with a slingshot?
Well, I grew up playing baseball,
Okay.
and my dad
Nice.
always said I have a beautiful left hand swing.
There we go.
So I'm going with the beautiful left hand swing. We'll face the Demogorgon with a baseball bat.
One of the
Very
iconic
nice.
things about the show right there too, the baseball bat.
Absolutely.
Would you rather? Oh, this is another good one. Would you rather be in a D&D campaign led by Eddie or Will?
I have to go with Eddie. I'm sorry, Will, but I want to see Eddie. Like he just gets really intense.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm in a D&D campaign with my wife and a couple of our friends, and our dungeon master makes it lots of fun,
Yeah.
and he gets intense with it. So to have Eddie get really intense with it, I mean, way more intense than we get,
Right.
that would be so much fun.
I'm thinking like Eddie would be like so dark. Like he would be trying to kill off characters.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
stuff
absolutely.
like-
Zero punches pulled.
Whereas Will, I think it'd be a much like, I don't want to say soft. He'd be a good storyteller, but it'd always be like there's this undercurrent of like niceness. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta come at you for something though. Isn't Mike the DM?
He is in the
True.
first season.
But
Okay.
it's Will that really, especially this last season, wanted to like go back to the time of like,
Okay.
oh, I want to play
Oh,
D&D.
yeah.
I want to,
Yeah.
like, don't you guys want to come back just like old times kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I think that's where the spirit of the question
Okay.
comes from. is
Yeah,
from
definitely. And as a producer, I really got to make a shameless plug here. Go back, listeners, and listen to our D&D episode.
Yes.
It was very enjoyable, and we did reference Stranger Things.
We- That's part of the reason why we had to talk about
that
it.
was gonna be one of my questions to you. It was not on the list, but like, did you get into D&D because of Stranger Things?
No,
Okay.
honestly. So there was an attempt to start it at my tiny high school, and I went for one day, and it just was a total flop. So then I never really had any interaction with it, and then one time, our friends were just like, "Hey, we really want to do a D&D campaign," and my wife and I were like, yeah, honestly, that sounds pretty fun. So we just started doing that. And so like once a month we'll meet up and just play D&D. And I don't know how that really came about other than that, but we love it.
Yeah, love to hear that.
That is awesome. What? So I think it's fair. Like since this is, I know it's not a D&D episode, but what's your character that you play in D&D?
Yeah. So it's not even like a standard character. It's like a custom character that he created. It's an ancient dwarf.
Okay.
And it's an acolyte, and it's really, really cool.
So acolyte. So you running like more cleric or?
I don't really understand fully what's happening with my character.
Okay.
This is my first time
that's
ever doing D&D campaign, and I don't know. We just take on so many different roles and do so many different things, and we definitely stretch the boundaries of what's technically supposed to be happening.
awesome.
Nice.
No, that's great.
Because
Yeah,
it's
that's the
like,
most fun.
okay, I guess we'll let this happen.
How long have you guys been playing for?
I think we've met up 4 times.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this is a fresh campaign.
This is fresh.
Wow.
Nice.
Awesome. I love that. Here, so kind of to round things out, we were just talking about running up that hill. Would you rather listen to Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill on repeat to survive Vecna, or have to sing your favorite 80s song every time you're scared?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the first one because honestly, like we said, that song's an absolute banger.
Yeah, agreed.
I love that song. Ever since I heard it on the show, which was also my first time hearing
Yep.
it, I just was like, okay, this is kind of a guilty pleasure song for me now. So yeah, I know I would listen to it. We got it.
Nice. Well, I'll bring us into our more broad Q&A, which we've been around a lot. So let's see. What's one character you wish had more screen time?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I feel like everyone got a pretty decent amount of screen time, but I think the best answer is just Bob.
Okay.
I think I wanted more of Bob.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, we'll just go in a circle here. Who do you think is the real heart of the party?
Yeah. I think it has to be Dustin. I think I think he just does such a good job of just being so passionate. A lot of people would say Will, just because, like you said, a lot of it revolves around him coming back to, hey, let's come back to our roots in D&D. But I think Dustin does a really good job of tying together every aspect of the characters from the main D&D group to even like Eddie and Billy and all of, Max even. Like, I feel like he just ties together all of the groups really well, and he's so passionate in everything that he does. And so I really, really enjoy his character.
Yeah,
I'd agree with
well
that.
said. Well said.
If you had the ability to change one storyline so far, so I know we already talked about Bob, so let's skip that one.
Right.
But if there's any other storyline that you could change, go back and adapt a little bit better, what would it be?
Man, I think that the storyline of Robin was kind of interesting. It didn't go the way that I was expecting it to, honestly. I wasn't really sure what was happening between her and Steve for a while. I mean, I think that was pretty much obvious. Like, that was very intentional in how they did that, and the whole Scoops Ahoy thing. But at the same time, I think I might adapt that story just because I feel like that was a really good opportunity for them to develop more tension between Steve and Nancy and Robin even more. And so maybe, I don't know.
So
I might adapt that.
Making Robin into an actual love interest for
Steve. I think that could have been really interesting.
For sure. I know what mine is for sure. and it's got to be season 2, right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's got to be from season 2.
Are we talking about 11's storyline?
Yes, 11 storyline.
Yeah.
And really, we've talked about this a lot before. At least I have with Ben. I don't know about Michael, but just the whole entire thing. I wasn't even mad about the direction that season 2 went. I just think that it needed to be a 2-parter. Like they had a cool story that they had kind of developed, and then it felt like the producers or whoever. Well, I guess the Duffer Brothers are the producers, but whoever's higher up above them was like, hey, you got to wrap this up this season. Like you can't leave this hanging by a thread at the end of this season. Like we got to find some way to bring some closure to it, and that's kind of what it felt like to me. Is that like they could have just been like, all right, we're gonna leave this in a huge cliffhanger, and I wish they would have because it felt that way coming into the last episode that, well, the mind flayer is kind of coming into town. It looks like it's going to tear things up. And I think it should just been like, all right, that's the end. Now we got to try and figure out like, what are they going to do? Elle's way out in Chicago doing things.
Yeah.
Nobody's really, the party's all split up and doing all kinds of different stuff, and just make it look like kind of, I don't know, lean into the tension more.
Yeah.
Man, I'm knocking the mics a lot tonight.
Oh, you're getting passionate.
I know, I'm getting very passionate about this, but yeah, no, just like leaning into the tension a little bit more, into the darker tone, and like make us think like maybe somebody's not going to make her, something bad is really going to happen, but instead they kind of brought it to an end. It was like, all right, hey, Elle gets to have her sacrificial moment and all that. But I don't know. That's my.
I thought you were going to talk about what's the leader of the gang out in Chicago.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name.
Well, she's another number I know, but I can't remember which one.
Her name.
8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she has a number 8, but I don't know what her name was.
We'll call her 8 for now. But like, see, I feel a little bit better about that storyline now that we've had season 4 and like dove a little bit more into like the backstory of the program that created her and 11. But yeah, I still do think that we could have explored that relationship a little bit more, and what 11 could have been doing out there in Chicago with them.
It does make me wonder, especially like how they took it to, like they did come and bring it back to Chicago a little bit in that way that you get to know about the program. Do you think that we'll see, that's another thing that could come up in season 5? Like, do you think that we'll see those characters make a comeback potentially?
I could see that, because I think in a lot of finales, quote unquote, the shows will bring the whole gang back together. Like that, in order to defeat the big baddie, whoever that might be, you kind of need like this joining together of all these different like groups. I'm thinking of like Endgame, obviously, is like the biggest example. So I definitely could see it.
I mean, I think like you said, you pretty much need to bring everyone in for this one, and I think that's definitely what's coming.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. I think that is just perfect for Stranger Things, for an 80s set show to just pull in every character, just bring it all together, and wrap it up. But to your guys' point of like changing the plots of, like season 2 or like later seasons, I just think that, like we've kind of discussed, that the first season was really, really good in terms of story building, but then it just kind of started to fall off. They started to get a little less dark and then get a little looser on who they let live, and just I think that they really need to do a good job of coming back to their roots from season 1 and just go ham.
Yeah, I think this is typical of when you're given, it was written just for one season initially, and just like when you're given like, okay, this is all we've got, and then like you're kind of forced to expand upon that and make it bigger and more dramatic or whatever. Like you start to get outside of what it was originally, and so hopefully it's something they can get back to. Not that I'm disappointed in anything so far, but like
is that what it was? It was written for one season. I thought they did have a multi-season arc. No,
maybe not. I
don't know.
I can't recall, but I feel like it would probably, I mean, it could have been one of those things where,
I mean, my guess is that it was something that for Netflix, like in the way they do things, like they usually give you one season to see how well it does, and then they'll give you more. Because like we've seen plenty of other Netflix shows fall off after a season. So
sure, yeah,
could be wrong, but yeah.
Well, we're about out of time. Ben, why don't you ask one more question and we'll wrap it up?
Oh wow, okay. I mean, we've talked a lot about predictions for the series, and okay, if you had to spend a day in Hawkins with one of the characters, who would it be? Alive or dead? So you can bring Eddie in if you want.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I would want to spend it with Dustin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be so much fun. I think he would show me around the place, and then we would probably just geek out over all the things that he has invented or is building. Probably his radio. Probably have to tell me about his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would just be so awesome. I think it would be a great time.
Yeah. That's a great answer. And to circle back real quick, Ben, yes, it was only originally supposed to be one season.
Oh,
yep.
Really?
So,
Wow.
Yep.
Again, like I said, I just feel like that's generally how Netflix does things. Like we'll give you a season, like you can leave it open, but like we can't guarantee you're getting more. So
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to wrap us up, Ben?
yeah. So I mean, obviously we know what the next big thing in this series is. I do have to ask you though. You did mention that they teased potentially some spinoffs. What have you seen about that?
I haven't seen anything recently, but
Okay.
it did seem like there was a lot of teasing before the season 5 ramp up started to happen, that potentially there was something coming down the line of just some spinoff. So I don't know if that's going to play into how season 5 pans out.
Okay.
Just so they can have something spin off, but I guess we'll have to see.
I'll have to look at. I'm almost certain that there is one that's already in production and they are working towards, and I think it has something to do with the lab. But I'll double check that and make sure I get my facts straight.
Vecna prequel.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Great. Well, Isaiah, thank you so much. Really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
your
you.
insights.
Thank you, Isaiah. This
Yeah,
is
thanks
great.
for sitting down. And this is another topic. I feel like we could sit here and talk for another hour about various things, and maybe we will off air. But regardless, we super appreciate you coming on and sharing all your wisdom and passion for the fandom with us. So yeah, Michael, why don't you tease what's coming up next for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So episode 13, we're having the great Jerry Lozier coming on to talk about Adventure Time. So I have no background in Adventure Time. I'm super excited to learn more. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
realizing-
basically the same.
Just realizing we should have timed this out, so this was episode 11, not 12. Darn it.
Oh, man.
Oh my
That's okay.
Disappointing.
I
Technically-
cannot live with myself.
Technically, the first episode was a trailer.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
just saying, like, you know, like,
It's the
however you
11th
want.
true episode.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's exactly right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Have a great time, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Fandom of Fandoms. If you had fun, be sure to follow us at FOF.pod on Instagram and Threads and at Fandom of Fandoms on YouTube. Make sure to leave a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps new fans find the show. Lastly, if you've got a fandom you want us to cover, shoot us an email at fandomofpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, keep being passionate, keep being curious, and keep being a fan.